bears a plant seed on its back right from the day this Pokemon is born. The seed slowly grows larger. Version 2. While it is young, it uses the nutrients that are stored in the seed on its back in order to grow. Height is 2 feet 4 inches. His category is seed. Abilities: overgrow, and he weighs 15.2 pounds. He's grass poison. He's weak to fire, psychic, flying, and ice. Number 2, we have Ivysaur. When the bulb on its back grows large, it appears to lose the ability to stand on its hind legs. Exposure to sunlight adds to its strength. Sunlight also makes the bud on its back grow larger. Height is 3 feet 3 inches. Category is seed. Ability is overgrow. Overgrow powers up grass type moves when the Pokemon's HP is low. Weight is 28.7 pounds. It is still grass poison because it is the evolution of Bulbasaur. Weaknesses to fire, psychic, flying, and ice. And the final evolution, number 3, Venusaur. Its plant blooms when it is absorbing solar energy. It stays on the move to seek sunlight. A bewitching aroma wafts from its flower. The fragrance calms those engaged in battle. Venusaur is 6 feet 7 inches, still a seed category, still the overgrow ability. And he weighs 220.5 pounds, grass poison, weak to fire, psychic, flying, ice. Coming in at number 4, we have Charmander. It has a preference for hot things. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail. From the time it is born, a flame burns at the tip of its tail. Its life would end if the flame were to go out. He is 2 feet tall. He's a lizard. His weight is 18.7 pounds. The ability is Blaze, which powers up fire-type moves when the Pokemon's HP is low. He is fire-type. His weakness to water, ground, and rock. And his first evolution is Charmeleon. It has a barbaric nature. In battle, it whips its fiery tail around and slashes away with sharp claws. If it becomes agitated during battle, it spouts intense flames, incinerating its surroundings. Coming in at 3 feet 7 inches, flame category. Its weight is 41.9 pounds. Same ability, Blaze, power up, fire moves, fire type, water, ground, rock, weakness. And the final evolution is Charizard. It spits fire that is hot enough to melt boulders. It may cause forest fires by blowing flames. Its wings can carry this Pokemon close to an altitude of 4,600 feet. It blows out fire at very high temperatures. His height is 5 foot 7 inches. He's the flame category. He weighs 199.5 pounds. He is fire flying type. He's weak to water, electric, and 4 times weak to rock. He's immune to ground because he's flying. Next draws its limbs inside its shell and sprays water from its mouth. Coming in at 1 foot 8 inches is a tiny turtle category. He weighs 19.8 pounds. Ability is Torrent. Power up water type move when the Pokemon's HP is low. Water type is weak to grass and electric. Next, we have Wartortle. It is recognized as a symbol of longevity. If its shell has algae on it, the Wartortle is very old. It cleverly controls its furry ears and tail to maintain its balance while swimming. Coming in at 3 foot 3 inches, he is in the turtle category. He weighs 49.6 pounds. Torrent ability to power up water moves when his HP is low. Water type, weak to grass, electric. And the final evolution, we have Blastoise. It crushes its foe under its heavy body to cause fainting. In a pinch, it will withdraw inside its shell. The rocket cannons on its shell fire jets of water capable of punching holes through thick steel. Coming in at 5 foot 3 inches, his category is Shellfish. The weight is 188.5 pounds with the Torrent ability. That sums up the starters. Next, we have Catropy. For protection, it releases a horrible stench from the antenna on its head to drive away enemies. Its short feet are tipped with suction pads that enable it to tirelessly climb slopes and walls. It is 1 foot tall, the worm category. He weighs 6.4 pounds, and his ability is Shield Dust. The dust blocks the additional effects of attacks taken. His bug type is weak to fire, flying, and rock. Next we have Metapod. It is waiting for the moment to evolve. At this stage, it can only harden, so it remains motionless to avoid attack. Even though it is encased in a sturdy shell, the body inside is tender. It can't withstand a harsh attack. His height is 2 feet 4 inches. Category Cocoon. Weight is 21.8 pounds. The ability is Shed Skin. The Pokemon may heal its own status conditions by shedding its skin. He's a bug type, so he's weak to fire, flying, and rock. And then the final Catropy evolution is Butterfree. In battle, it flaps its wings at great speed to release highly toxic dust into the air. It collects honey every day. It rubs honey onto the hairs on its legs to carry it back to its nest. His height is 3 feet 7 inches. He's the butterfly category. Weight is 70.5. Ability is Compound Eyes. The Pokemon's Compound Eyes boost its accuracy. He's a bug flying. He's weak to fire, flying, electric, ice, and 4 times weak to rock. Next up, we have Weedle. Beware of the sharp stinger on its head. It hides in grass and bushes where it eats leaves. He does not have a second pokedex entry. His height is 1 feet. Category Hairy Bug. His weight is 7.1 pounds. Abilities Dust. Blocks additional effects of attacks. Bug Poison. He's weak to Fire, Psychic, Flying, and Rock. Next up, we have Cocoona. Able to move only slightly. When endangered, it may stick out its stinger and poison its enemy. His height is 2 feet. Category: Cocoon. The weight is 22 pounds. Ability: Shed Skin. It heals its own status condition by shedding its skin. He has the Bug Poison. He's weak to Fire, Psychic, Flying, and Rock. The final evolution is Beedrill. It has 3 poisonous stingers on its forelegs and its tail. They are used to jab its enemy repeatedly. His height is 3 feet 3 inches. His category is Poison Bee. The weight is 65 pounds. Ability is Swarm. He powers up Bug-type moves when the Pokemon's HP is low. His Bug Poison, so he's weak to Fire, Psychic, Flying, and Rock. Next up, we have Pidgey. Very docile. If attacked, it will often kick up sand to protect itself rather than fight back. His height is 1 feet. His category is Tiny Bird. His weight is 4 pounds. And his abilities are either Keen Eye or Tangled Feet. Keen Eye prevent other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's accuracy. Tangled Feet raises evasiveness if the Pokemon is confused. He is a normal flying type, weak to electric, ice, and rock. He evolves into Pidgeotto. This Pokemon is full of vitality. It constantly flies around its large territory in search of prey. His height is 3 feet 7 inches. He is the bird category. Weight is 66.1 pounds. Abilities are Keen Eye and Tangled Feet, just like Pidgey. Normal flying, so he's weak to electric, ice, and rock. Then we have Pidgeot. This Pokemon flies at Mach 2 speed, seeking prey. Its large talons are feared as wicked weapons. His height is 4 feet 11 inches. He is the bird category. The weight is 87.1 pounds. Abilities are also Keen Eye and Tangled Feet. Typing is normal flying. Weaknesses are electric, ice, and rock. Next, we have Ratata. He will chew on anything with its fangs. If you see one, you can be certain that 40 more live in the area. His height is 1 foot. Category: Mouse. Weight: 7.7 pounds. Abilities: Run Away. Enables sure get away from wild Pokemon. And Guts. It's so gutsy, having a status condition boosts the Pokemon's attack stat. His type is normal, so he's only weak to fighting type. Next, we have Raticate. Its hind feet are webbed. They act as flippers, so it can swim in rivers and hunt for prey. His height is 2 feet 4 inches. His category is Mouse. The weight is 14.8 pounds. Ability: Run Away and Guts. Normal type, so he's weak to fighting. Next, at 21, we have Spearow. Inept at flying high, however, it can fly around very fast to protect its pounds. Ability is Keen Eye. Keen Eye prevent other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's accuracy. He has normal flying, so he's weak to electric, ice, and rock. Then we have Vero, a Pokemon that dates back many years. If it senses danger, it flies high and away instantly. His height is 3 feet 11 inches. His category is Beak. His weight is 83.8 pounds, and ability is Keen Eye. Prevent other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's accuracy. Normal flying, so he's weak to electric, ice, and rock. Next, we have Ekans. The older it gets, the longer it grows. At night, it wraps its long body around tree branches to rest. His height is 6 feet 7 inches. Snake category, 15.2 pounds. Shed skin. Pokemon may heal its own status condition by shedding its skin. And intimidate. The Pokemon intimidates opposing Pokemon upon entering battle, lowering their attack stat. Poison type, Psychic. Weak to Psychic and Ground. Next, we have Arbok. The frightening patterns on its belly have been studied. 6 variations have been confirmed. Height is 11 feet 6 inches. Category is Cobra. Weight is 143.3 pounds. Abilities are Shed Skin and Intimidate. Poison type, weak to Psychic and Ground. Next, we have Pikachu. Pikachu that can generate powerful electricity have cheek sacs that are extra soft and super stretchy. When Pikachu meet, they'll touch their tails together and exchange electricity through them as a form of greeting. Height is 1 foot 4 inches. Category is Mouse. Weight is 13.2 pounds. Ability is Static. The Pokemon is charged with static electricity, so contact with it may cause paralysis. Electric type, meaning it's only weak to ground. Next, we have Raichu. Its long tail serves as a ground to protect itself from its own high voltage power. If its electric pouches run empty, it raises its tail to gather electricity from the atmosphere. Height is 2 feet 7 inches. Category is Mouse. Weight is 66.1 pounds. Ability is Static. The type is electric, so the weakness is ground. Next up, we have Sandshrew. It loves to bathe in the grit of dry, sandy areas. By sandbathing, the Pokemon rids itself of dirt and moisture clinging to its body. It burrows into the ground to create its nest. If hard stones impede its tunneling, it uses its sharp claws to shatter them and then carries on digging. The height is 2 feet. The category is Mouse. The weight is 26.5 pounds. The ability is Sandveil. It boosts the Pokemon's evasiveness in a sandstorm. The type is ground type, so it is weak to water, grass, and ice. Next up, we have his evolution, Sandslash. The drier the area Sandslash lives in, the harder and smoother the Pokemon's spikes will feel when touched. It climbs trees by hooking on with its sharp Sandshrew waiting below the tree. Oh, how nice. The height is 3 feet 3 inches. Category is mouse. Weight is 65 pounds. Ability is Sandveil. Ground type, so is weak to water, grass, and ice. Next up, we have Neato Ran. Females are more sensitive to smells than males. While foraging, they'll use their whiskers to check wind directions and stay downwind of predators. It uses its hard incisor teeth to crush and eat berries. The tip of a female Nidoran's horn is a bit more rounded than the tip of a male's horn. Height is 1 feet 4 inches. Category is Poison Pen. Weight is 15.4 pounds. Abilities are Poison Point, which contact with the Pokemon may poison the attacker. And Rivalry. It becomes competitive and deals more damage to Pokemon of the same gender, but less to Pokemon of the opposite gender. Poison type, so he's weak to Psychic and Ground. Then we have Nedorina. The horn on his head has atrophied. It's thought that this happens so Nedorina's children won't get poked while their mother is feeding them. If the group is threatened, these Pokemon will band together to assault enemies with a chorus of ultrasonic waves. Poison type. I skipped all of this. Height is 2 feet 7 inches. Category Poison Pen. Weight 44.1 pounds. Abilities Poison Point and Rivalry. Poison type, so he is weak to Psychic and Ground. Next up, we have Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is better at defense than offense. With scales like armor, this Pokemon will shield its children from any kind of attack. It pacifies offspring by placing them in the gaps between the spines on its back. The spines will never secrete poison while young are present. Height is 4 feet 3 inches. Category is Drill. Weight is 132.2 pounds. Abilities are Poison Point and Rivalry. He has Poison and Ground type, so the weaknesses are Water, Psychic, Ice, and Ground. Next, we have Nidoran. The horn on a male Nidoran's forehead contains a powerful poison. This is a very cautious Pokemon, always straining its large ears. Small but brave, this Pokemon will hold its ground and even risk its life in battle to protect the female it's friendly with. Height is 1 feet 8 inches. Category is Poison Pen. Weight is 19.8 pounds. Abilities are Poison Point and Rivalry. It is Poison type and weak to Psychic and Ground. It evolves into Nidorino. With a horn that's harder than diamond, this Pokemon goes around shattering boulders as it searches for a moonstone. It's nervous and quick to act aggressively. The potency of its poison increases along with the level of adrenaline present in its body. Height is 2 feet 11 inches. Category is Poison Pen. Weight is 43 pounds. Abilities are Poison Point and Rivalry. Poison type, weak to Psychic and Ground. And finally, we have Neato King. is Drill. Weight is 136.7 pounds. Abilities are Poison Point and Rivalry. The type is Poison Ground, so the weaknesses are Water, Psychic, Ice, and Ground. Next, we have Clefairy. It is said that happiness will come to those who see a gathering of Clefairy dancing under a full moon. Its adorable behavior and cry make it highly popular. However, this cute Pokemon is rarely found. Height is 2 feet. Category is Fairy. Weight is 16.5. Abilities are Cute Charm. Contact with the Pokemon may cause infatuation. And Magic Guard. The Pokemon only takes damage from attacks. Type is Fairy. Weaknesses are Steel and Poison. Next, we have Clefable. I don't think the Fairy type wasn't in the original 151. I think they were just normal type. Clefable, a timid fairy Pokemon that is rarely seen. It will run and hide the moment it senses people. Their ears are sensitive enough to hear a pin drop from over a mile away, so they're usually found in quiet places. Height 4 feet 3 inches. Category Fairy. Weight 88.2 pounds. Abilities Cute Charm and Magic Guard. Fairy type weak to Steel and Poison. Next up we have Vulpix. While young, it has 6 gorgeous tails. When it grows, several new tails are sprouted. As each tail grows, its fur becomes more lustrous. When held, it feels slightly warm. Height is 2 feet. Category is Fox. Weight is 21.8 pounds. Abilities Flash Fire. Power up Fire type moves if it's hit by one. It is Fire type. The weakness is Water, Ground, and Rock. Next we have Ninetales. It is said to live 1,000 years, and each of its tails is loaded with supernatural powers. Very smart and very vengeful, grabbing one of its many tails could result in a 1,000-year curse. The height is 3 feet 7 inches. The category is Fox. The weight is 43.9 pounds. The ability is Flash Fire. It is Fire type and weak to Water, Ground, and Rock. Next, we have Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff has top-notch lung capacity, even by comparison to other Pokemon. It won't stop singing its lullabies until its foes fall asleep. By freely changing the wavelength of its voice, Jigglypuff sings a mysterious melody sure to make any listener sleepy. The height is 1 feet 8 inches. Category is Balloon. Weight is 12.1. Abilities are Cute Charm and Competitive. Cute Charm causes infatuation through contact. Competitive boosts the special attack stat sharply when a stat is lowered. Normal Fairy type, so the weakness is Steel Poison. It evolves into Wigglytuff. The more air it takes in, the more it inflates. If opponents catch it in a bad mood, it will inflate itself to an enormous size to intimidate them. It's proud of its fur, which is fine and delicate. In particular, the curl on its forehead has a texture that's perfectly heavenly. Height is 3 feet 3 inches. Category weaknesses are steel and poison. Next up, we have Zubat. It emits ultrasonic waves from its mouth to check its surroundings. Even in tight caves, Zubat flies around with skill. Zubat lives in caves, down where the sun's light won't reach. In the morning, they gather together to keep each other warm as they sleep. Height is 2 feet 7 inches. Category is Bat. Weight is 16.5 pounds. Ability is Inner Focus. It protects the Pokemon from flinching. Type is Poison Flying. The weaknesses are Psychic, Electric, Ice, and Rock. He evolves into Golbat. It loves to drink other creatures' blood. It's said that if it finds others of its kind going hungry, it sometimes shares the blood it's gathered. Its feet are tiny, but this Pokemon walks skillfully. It sneaks up on sleeping prey before sinking in its fangs and slurping up blood. The height is 5 feet 3 inches. Category is Bat. Weight is 121.3 pounds. Ability is Inner Focus. Type is Poison Flying. Weaknesses are Psychic, Electric, Ice, and Rock. Next up, we have Oddish. If exposed to moonlight, it starts to move. It roams far and wide at night to scatter its seeds. During the day, it stays in the cold underground to avoid the sun. It grows by bathing in moonlight. The height is 1 feet 8 inches. Category is Weed. Weight is 11.9 pounds. Ability is Chlorophyll. Boosts the Pokemon speed stat in harsh sunlight. It is Grass Poison. Weak to Fire, Psychic, Flying, and Ice. It evolves into Gloom. Its pistols exude an incredibly foul odor. The horrid stench can cause fainting at a distance of 1.25 miles. What appears to be drool is actually sweet honey. It is very sticky and clings stubbornly if touched. The height is 2 feet 7 inches. The category is Weed. The weight is 19 pounds. The ability is Chlorophyll. Type is Grass Poison. Weaknesses: Fire, Psychic, Flying, Ice. The final evolution is Vileplume. It has the world's largest petals. With every step, the petals shake out heavy clouds of toxic pollen. The larger its petals, the more toxic pollen it contains. Its big head is heavy and hard to hold up. The height is 3 feet 11 inches. The category is Flower. The weight is 41 pounds. The abilities is Chlorophyll. The type is Grass Poison. The weaknesses are Fire, Psychic, Flying, Ice. Next up, we have Paris. Burrows under the ground to gnaw on tree roots. The mushrooms on his back absorb most of the nutrition. The height is 1 foot. The category is Mushroom. The weight is 11.9 pounds. The ability is Effect Spore. Contact with Pokemon may inflict poison, sleep, or paralysis. And Dry Skin. Restores HP in rain or when hit by water-type moves. Reduces HP in harsh sunlight and increases the damage received from fire-type moves. The type is Bug Grass. The weaknesses are 4 times Fire, 4 times Flying, Ice, Poison, Rock, and Bug. He evolves into is drained of energy by the mushroom on its back. The mushroom appears to do all the thinking. The height is 3 feet 3 inches. The category is mushroom. The weight is 65 pounds. The abilities are Effect Spore and Dry Skin. The type is Bug Grass. The weaknesses are 4 times Fire, 4 times Flying, Ice, Bug, Rock, and Poison. Next up, we have Vinomoth. Its large eyes act as radar. In a bright place, you can see that they are clusters of many tiny eyes. The height is 3 feet 3 inches. The category is Insect. The weight is 66.1 pounds. The abilities are Compound Eyes and Tinted Lens. Compound Eyes boosts accuracy. Tinted Lens. The Pokemon can use not very effective moves to deal regular damage. The type is Bug Poison. The weaknesses are Fire, Psychic, Flying, and Rock. It evolves into Vinomoth. The powdery scales on its wings are hard to remove from skin. They also contain poison that leaks out on contact. The height is 4 feet 11 inches. The category is Poison Moth. The weight is 27.6 pounds. The abilities are Shield Dust and Tinted Lens. The type is Bug Poison. Weakness, Fire, Psychic, Flying, and Rock. Next we have Diglett. If a Diglett digs through a field, it leaves the soil perfectly tilled and ideal for planting crops. It burrows through the ground at the shallow depths. It leaves raised earth in its wake, making it easy to spot. The height is 0 feet 8 inches. The category is Mole. Weight is 1.8 pounds. Abilities are Sandveil and Arena Trap. Sandveil boosts evasiveness in a sandstorm. Arena Trap prevents opposing Pokemon from fleeing. The type is Ground. The weaknesses are Water, Grass, and Ice. Next, we have his evolution, Dugtrio. A team of Diglett triplets. It triggers huge earthquakes by burrowing 60 miles underground. These Diglett triplets dig over 60 miles below sea level. No one knows what it's like underground. The height is 2 feet 4 inches. The category is Mole. The weight is 73.4 pounds. The abilities are Sandveil and Arena Trap. Ground type, weak to water, grass, and ice. Next, we have Meowth. It loves to collect shiny things. If it's in a good mood, it might even let its trainer have a look at its hoard of treasures. It washes its face regularly to keep the coin on its forehead spotless. It doesn't get along with Clefairy and Meowth. The height is 1 feet 4 inches. The category is Scratch Cat. The weight is 9.3 pounds. The abilities are Pick Up. The Pokemon may pick up the item an opposing Pokemon used during a battle. It may pick up items outside of battle too. And Technician powers up the Pokemon's weaker moves. It is normal type. It is weak to fighting type. Meowth evolves into Persian. Getting this prideful Pokemon to warm up to you takes a lot of effort, and it will claw at you the moment it gets annoyed. Its elegant and refined behavior clashes with that of the barbaric Berserker. What? Berserker. The relationship between the two is one of mutual disdain. What is this Berserker? Never heard of this. I've been out is Classy Cat. The weight is 70.5 pounds. The abilities are Technician and Limber. Limber protects the Pokemon from paralysis. Yeah, I have not played the game that Berserker was in. It's normal type, so it's weak to fighting. Next up, we have Psyduck. Psyduck is constantly beset by headaches. If the Pokemon lets its strange power erupt, apparently the pain subsides for a while. As Psyduck gets stressed out, its headache gets progressively worse. It uses intense psychic energy to overwhelm those around it. The height is 2 feet 7 inches. The category is Duck. The weight is 43.2 pounds. The abilities are Damp. Prevents the use of explosive moves such as self-destruct by dampening surroundings. And Cloud 9 eliminates the effects of weather. It is water type. The weakness is grass and electric. It evolves into Golduck. This Pokemon lives in gently flowing rivers. It paddles through the water with its long limbs, putting its graceful swimming skills on display. Old tales tell of Golduck punishing those that defiled its river. The guilty were dragged into the water and taken away. The height is 5 feet 7 inches. The category is Duck. The weight is 168.9 pounds. The abilities are Damp and Cloud 9. The type is Water. The weakness is Grass and Electric. Next, we have Manky, an agile Pokemon that lives in trees. It angers easily and will not hesitate to attack anything. The height is 1 feet 8 inches. The category is Big Monkey. The weight is 61.7 pounds. The abilities are Vital Spirit. The Pokemon is full of vitality, and that prevents it from falling asleep. And Anger Point. The Pokemon is angered when it takes a critical hit, and that maxes its attack stat. Its fighting type, it is weak to Psychic, Flying, and Fairy. It evolves into Primeape. It stops being angry only when nobody else is around. To view this moment is very difficult. The height is 3 feet 3 inches. The category is Big Monkey. The weight is 70.5 pounds. The abilities are Vital Spirit and Anger Point. The type is Fighting. The weaknesses are Psychic, Flying, and Fairy. Next, we have Growlithe. It has a brave and trustworthy nature. It fearlessly stands up to bigger and stronger foes. Extremely loyal, it will fearlessly bark at any opponent to protect its own trainer from harm. The height is 2 feet 4 inches. The category is Puppy. The weight is 41.9 pounds. The abilities are Intimidate, which lowers the attack stat of the opposing Pokemon upon entering the battle. And Flash Fire powers up Fire-type moves if hit by Fire-type move. It is Fire-type and is weak to Water, Ground, and Rock. Next, we have Arcanine. The sight of it running over 6,200 miles in a single day and night has captivated many people. A Pokemon that has long been admired for its beauty, it runs agilely as if on wings. The height is 6 feet 3 inches. The category is Legendary. The weight is 341.7 pounds. Same abilities. The type is Fire, weak to Water, Ground, and Rock. Next, we have Poliwag. For Poliwag, swimming is easier than walking. The swirl pattern on his belly is actually part of the Pokemon's innards showing through the skin. In rivers with fast-flowing water, the This Pokemon will cling to a rock by using its thick lips, which act like a suction cup. Height 2 feet. Category Tadpole. Weight 27.3 pounds. Ability Damp. No explosion moves. And Water Absorb. Restore HP if hit by water type move instead of taking damage. The type is water. The weaknesses are grass, electric. Next, we have Poliwag. Staring at the swirl on his belly causes drowsiness. This trait of Poliwag's has been used in place of lullabies to get children to go to sleep. This Pokemon's sweat is a slimy mucus. When captured, Poliwag can slither from his enemy's grasp and escape. 3 feet 3 inches. Tadpole category. 44.1 pounds. Abilities are damp and water absorb. Water type, weak to grass, electric. Final evolution, Poliwrath. Its body is solid muscle. When swimming through cold seas, Poliwrath uses its impressive arms to smash through drift ice and plow forward. Poliwrath is skilled at both swimming and martial arts. It uses its well-trained arms to dish out powerful punches. The height is 4 feet 3 inches. Category is Tadpole. Weight is 119 pounds. Abilities are damp and water absorb. The type is water and fighting. The weaknesses are fairy, grass, flying, psychic, and electric. Next we have Abra. This Pokemon uses its psychic powers while it sleeps. The contents of Abra's dreams affect the powers that the Pokemon wields. Abra can teleport in its sleep. Apparently, the more deeply Abra sleeps, the farther its teleportations go. Height is 2 feet 11 inches. Category is Psi. Weight is 43 pounds. Abilities are Inner Focus. You prevent from flinching and synchronize. Attack will receive the same status condition. Attacker will receive the same status condition if it inflicts a burn, poison, or paralysis. It is Psychic type and is weak to Ghost, Dark, and Bug. Devolves into Kadabra. Using its psychic power, Kadabra levitates as it sleeps. It uses its springy tail as a pillow. This Pokemon's telekinesis is immensely powerful. To prepare for evolution, Kadabra stores up psychic energy in the star on his forehead. Height is 4 feet 3 inches. Category is Psi. Weight is 124.6 pounds. Abilities are Inner Focus and Synchronize. Psychic type, weak to Ghost, Dark, and Bug. Final evolution, Alakazam. It has an incredibly high level of intelligence. Some say that Alakazam remembers everything that ever happens to it, from birth till death. Alakazam wields potent psychic powers. It's said that this Pokemon uses these powers to create the spoons it holds. The height is 4 feet 11 inches. The category is Psi. The weight is 105.8 pounds. The abilities are Inner Focus and Synchronize. Psychic type, weak to Ghost, Dark, and Bug. Next, we have Machamp. Its whole body is composed of muscles. Even though it's the size of a human child, it can hurl 100 grown-ups. Always brimming with power, it passes time by lifting boulders. Doing so makes it even stronger. Its height is 2 feet 7 inches. The category is Superpower. The weight is 43 pounds. Abilities are Guts. Having status condition boosts its attack. And No Guard. The Pokemon employs No Guard tactics to ensure incoming and outgoing attacks always land. Its fighting type, it is weak to Psychic, Flying, and Fairy. It evolves into Machoke. Its muscular body is so powerful, it must wear a power save belt to be able to regulate its motions. Its formidable body never gets tired. It helps people by doing work such as the moving of heavy goods. The height is 4 feet 11 inches. The category is Superpower. The weight is 155.4 pounds. The abilities are Guts. Next, we have Machamp. It quickly swings its forearms to rock its opponents with ceaseless punches and chops from all angles. With forearms that react more quickly than it can think, it can execute many punches at once. The height is 5 feet 3 inches. The category is superpower. The weight is 286.6 pounds. The abilities are Guts and No Guard. It is fighting type. The weaknesses are Psychic, Flying, and Fairy. Next, we have Bellsprout. Prefers hot and humid places. It ensnares tiny bugs with its vines and devours them. The height is 2 feet 4 inches. The category is Flower. The weight is 8.8 pounds. The ability is Chlorophyll. Boosts speed in harsh sunlight. Grass poison type. The weaknesses are Fire, Psychic, Flying, and Ice. It evolves into Weeping Bell. When hungry, it swallows anything that moves. Its hapless prey is dissolved by strong acids. The height is 3 feet 3 inches. The category is Flycatcher. The weight is 14.1 pounds. The abilities are Chlorophyll. It is Grass Poison type. Weaknesses are Fire, Psychic, Flying, and Ice. Final evolution, Victory Bell. It uses prey. It lures prey with the sweet aroma of honey. Swallowed whole, the prey is dissolved in a day, bones and all. The height is 5 feet 7 inches. The category is Flycatcher. The weight is 34.2 pounds. The ability is Chlorophyll. It's Grass Poison, weak to Fire, Psychic, Flying, Ice. Next, we have Tentacool. Tentacool is not a particularly strong swimmer. It drifts across the surface of shallow seas as it searches for prey. This Pokemon is mostly made of water. A Tentacool out in the ocean is very hard to spot because its body blends in with the sea. Height is 2 feet 11 inches. Category is Jellyfish. Weight is 100.3 pounds. Ability, Clear Body. Pokemon moves or abilities do not lower its stats in Liquid Ooze. Ooze Liquid has a strong stench which damages attackers using any draining move. Its water poison type is weak to Psychic, Electric, and Ground. It evolves into Tentacruel. When the red orbs on Tentacruel's head glow brightly, watch out, the Pokemon is about to fire off a burst of ultrasonic waves. Its 80 tentacles can stretch and shrink freely. Tentacruel ensnares prey in a net of spread out tentacles, delivering venomous stings to its catch. The height is 5 feet 3 inches. The category is Jellyfish. The weight is 121.3 pounds. The abilities are Clear Body and Liquid Ooze. It is Water type. Water Poison type, weak to Psychic, Electric, and Ground. Next, we have Geodude. Commonly found near mountain trails and the like. If you step on one by accident, it gets angry. The height is 1 feet 4 inches. The category is Rock. The weight is 44.1 pounds. The abilities are Rockhead, protects from recoil damage, and Sturdy. It cannot be knocked out with one hit. One hit KO moves cannot knock it out either. It is Rock Ground type. It is weak to Steel, Fighting, 4 times Water, Ice, 4 times Grass, and Ground. It evolves into Graveler. Often seen rolling down mountain trails, obstacles are just things to roll straight over, not avoid. The height is 3 feet 3 inches. The category is Rock. The weight is 231.5 pounds. The abilities are Rockhead and Sturdy. It is Rock and Ground type, weak to Steel, Fighting, 4x Water, Ice, 4x Grass, and Ground. Next, we have Golem. Once it sheds its skin, its body turns tender and whitish. Its hide hardens when it's exposed to air. It is 4 feet 7 inches. It is Megaton category. It is 661.4 4 pounds. The abilities are Rockhead and Sturdy. It is Rock and Ground type. It is weak to Steel, Fighting, 4x Water, Ice, 4x Grass, and Ground. Alright, now I'm just going to start reading the descriptions and the typing. Next up, we have Ponyta. It can't run properly when it's newly born. As it races around with others of its kind, its legs grow stronger. If you've been accepted by Ponyta, its burning mane is mysteriously no longer hot to touch. It is fire type. It evolves into Rapidash. This Pokemon can be seen galloping through fields at speeds of up to 150 miles per hour, its fiery mane fluttering in the wind. The fastest runner becomes the leader, and it decides the herd's pace and direction of travel. It is fire type. Next we have Slowpoke. Slow-witted and oblivious, this Pokemon won't feel any pain if its tail gets eaten. It won't notice when its tail grows back either. When this Pokemon's tail is soaked in water, sweetness seeps from it. Slowpoke uses this trait to lure in and fish up other Pokemon. It is water, psychic type. It evolves into Slowbro. Slowpoke became Slowbro when a shelter bit onto its tail. Sweet flavor seeping from the tail made the shelter feel as if its life is a dream. Being bitten by a shelter shocked this Pokemon into standing on 2 legs. If the shelter lets go, it seems Slowbro will turn back into a Slowpoke. It is water psychic type. Next we have Magnemite. At times, Magnemite runs out of electricity and ends up on the ground. If you give batteries to a grounded Magnemite, it'll start moving again. It subsists on electricity. As Magnemite flies, it emits electromagnetic waves from the units on each side of its body. It is electric steel type. It evolves into Magneton. This Pokemon is 3 Magnemite that have linked together. Magneton sends out powerful radio waves to study its surroundings. This Pokemon is constantly putting out a powerful magnetic force. Most computers go haywire when a Magneton approaches. The type is electric steel. Next, we have Farfetch'd. The stalk this Pokemon carries in its wings serves as a sword to cut down opponents. In a dire situation, the stalk can also serve as food. They use a plant stalk as a weapon, but not all of them use it in the same way. Several distinct styles of stalk fighting have been observed. It is normal flying type. Next, we have Doduo. Its short wings make flying difficult. Instead, this Pokemon runs at high speeds on developed legs. It is normal flying type. It evolves into Dodrio. One of Dodrio's 2 heads splits to form a unique species. It runs close to 40 miles per hour in prairies. It is normal flying type. Next, we have Seal. Loves freezing cold conditions. Relishes swimming in a frigid climate of around 14 degrees Fahrenheit. It is water type and evolves into Dugong. Its entire body is a snowy white. Unharmed by even intense cold, it swims powerfully in icy water. It is water ice type. Next we have Grimer. Made of congealed sludge, it smells too putrid to touch. Even weeds won't grow in its path. It is poison type. It evolves into Mug. Smells so awful it can cause fainting. Through degeneration of its nose, it lost its sense of smell. It is poison type. Next we have Shelter. It swims facing backward by opening and closing its 2-piece shell. It is surprisingly fast. Its hard shell repels any kind of attack. It is vulnerable only when its shell is open. It is water type. It evolves into Cloyster. Its shell is extremely hard. It cannot be shattered, even with a bomb. The shell opens only when it is attacking. Once it slams its shell shut, it is impossible to open, even by those with superior strength. It is water ice type. Next we have Ghastly. Born from gases, anyone would faint if engulfed by its gaseous body, which contains poison. With its gas-like body, it can sneak into any place it desires. However, it can be blown away by wind. It is ghost poison type. It evolves into Haunter. Its tongue is made of gas. If licked, its victim starts shaking constantly until death eventually comes. If you get the feeling of being watched in darkness when nobody is around, Haunter is there. It is ghost poison, and the final evolution is Gengar. On the night of a full moon, if shadows move on their own and laugh, it must be Gengar's doing. It is said to emerge from darkness to steal the lives of those who become lost in the mountains. It is ghost poison type. Next we have Onyx. As it ticks through the ground, it absorbs many hard objects. This is what makes its body so solid. It rapidly pours through the ground at 50 miles per hour by squirming and twisting in its massive, rugged body. It is rock ground type. Next we have Drowsy. If you sleep by it all the time, it will sometimes show you dreams it had eaten in the past. It is psychic type, and it evolves into Hypno. Avoid eye contact. If you come across one, it will try to put you to sleep by using its pendulum. It is also psychic type. Next we have Krabby. It can be found near the sea. The large pincers grow back if they are torn out of their sockets. If it senses danger approaching, it cloaks itself with bubbles from its mouth so it will look bigger. It is water type. It evolves into Kingler. Its large and hard pincer has 10,000 horsepower strength. However, being so big, it is unwieldy to move. Its oversized claw is very powerful, but when it's not in battle, the claw just gets in the way. It is water type. Next we have Voltorb. It is said to camouflage itself as a Pokeball. It will self-destruct with very little stimulus. It is electric type. It evolves into Electrode. Stores electrical energy inside of its body. Even the slightest shock could trigger a huge explosion. It is electric type. And then next we have Execute. Though it may look like it's just a bunch of eggs, it's a proper Pokemon. Execute communicates with others of its kind via telepathy, apparently. These Pokemon get nervous when they're not in a group of 6. The minute even one member of the group goes missing, Execute becomes cowardly. It is grass psychic type. It evolves into Executor. Each of Executor's 3 heads is thinking different thoughts. These 3 don't seem to be very interested in one another. When they work together, Executor's 3 heads can put out powerful psychic energy. Cloudy days make this Pokemon sluggish. The type is grass psychic. Next, we have Cubone. When the memory of its departed mother brings it to tears, it cries echo mournfully. Its cries echo mournfully within the skull it wears on its head. This Pokemon wears the skull of its deceased mother. Sometimes Cubone's dreams make it cry, but each tear Cubone sheds makes it stronger. It is ground type. It evolves into Marowak. This Pokemon overcame its sorrow to evolve a sturdy new body. Marowak faces its opponents bravely, using a bone as a weapon. When this Pokemon evolved, the skull of its mother fused to it. Marowak's temperament also turned vicious at the same time. It is ground type. Next, we have Hitmonlee. This amazing Pokemon has an awesome sense of balance. It can kick in succession from any position. The legs freely contract and stretch. The stretchy legs allow it to hit a distant foe with a rising kick. It is fighting type. Next, we have Hitmonchan. Its punches slice the air. They are launched at such high speed, even a slight graze could cause a burn. Its punches slice the air. However, it seems to need a short break after fighting for 3 minutes. It is fighting type. Next, we have Lickitung. If this Pokemon's sticky saliva gets on you and you don't clean it off, an intense itch will set in. The itch won't go away either. Bug Pokemon are Lickitung's main food source. This Pokemon paralyzes its prey with a lick from its long tongue, then swallows the prey whole. It is normal type. Next, we have Coughing. Its body is full of poisonous gas. It floats into garbage dumps, seeking out the fumes of raw, rotting trash. It adores polluted air. Some claim that Coughing used to be more plentiful in the Galar region than they are now. It is poison type. It evolves into Wheezing. It mixes gases between its two bodies. It's said that these Pokemon were seen all over the Galar region back in the day. It can't suck in air quite as well as a Galarian Wheezing, but the toxin it creates are more potent than those of its counterpart. Oh my. Next we have Rhyhorn. Strong, but not too bright. This Pokemon can shatter even a skyscraper with its charging tackles. It can remember only one thing at a time. Once it starts rushing, it forgets why it started. It is ground rock type. It evolves into Rhydon. It begins walking on its hind legs after evolution. It can punch holes through boulders with its horn. Protected by an armor-like hide, it is capable of living in molten lava of 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit. Next we have Chansey. The egg Chansey carries is not only delicious, but also packed with nutrition. It's used as a high-class cooking ingredient. This species was once very slow. To protect their eggs from other creatures, these Pokemon became able to flee quickly. It is normal type. Next, we have Tangela. Hidden beneath a tangle of vines that grows non-stop even if the vines are torn off, this Pokemon's true appearance remains a mystery. It is grass type. The vines of a Tangela have a distinct scent. In some parts of Galar, Tangela vines are used as herbs. Next we have Kangaskhan. Although is carrying its baby in a pouch on his belly, Kangaskhan is swift on his feet. It intimidates its opponents with quick jabs. There are records of a lost human child being raised by a childless Kangaskhan. It is normal type. Next, we have Horsey. Horsey makes its home in oceans with gentle currents. If this Pokemon is under attack, it spits out pitch-black ink and escapes. They swim with dance-like motions and cause whirlpools to form. Horsey compete to see which of them can generate the biggest whirlpool. It is water type. It evolves into Seadra. It's the males that raise the offspring, while Seadra are raised young. The spines on their backs secrete thicker and stronger poison. Seadra's mouth is slender, but its suction power is strong. In an instant, Seadra can suck in food that's larger than the opening of its mouth. It is water type. Next, we have Goldeen. Its dorsal, pectoral, and tail fins wave elegantly in water. That That is why it is known as the water dancer. Its dorsal and pectoral fins are strongly developed like muscles. It can swim at a speed of 5 knots. It is water type. It evolves into Sea King. In autumn, its body becomes more fatty and preparing to propose to a mate. It takes on beautiful colors. Using its horn, it bores holes in riverbed boulders, making nests to prevent its egg from washing away. It is water type. Next, we have Staryu. If you visit a beach at the end of summer, you'll be able to see groups of Staryu lighting up in a steady rhythm. First Pokemon nibble at it, but Staryu isn't bothered. Its body regenerates quickly, even if part of it's completely torn off. It is water type. It evolves into Starmie. This Pokemon has an organ known as its core. The organ glows in 7 colors when Starmie is unleashing its potent psychic powers. Starmie swims by spinning its body at high speed. As this Pokemon cruises through the ocean, it absorbs tiny plankton. It is water psychic type. Next we have Mr. Mime. The broadness of its hands may be no coincidence. Many scientists believe its palms became enlarged specifically for pantomiming. It's known for its top-notch pantomime skills. It protects itself from all sorts of attacks by emitting auras from its fingers to create walls. It is psychic fairy type. Next, we have Scyther. As Scyther fights more and more battles, its scythes become sharper and sharper. With a single slice, Scyther can fell a massive tree. If you come across an area in a forest where a lot of the trees have been cut down, what you found is a Scyther's territory. It is bug flying type. Next, we have Jinx. In certain parts of Galar, Jinx was once feared and worshipped as the Queen of Ice. The Jinx of Galar often have beautiful and delicate voices. Some of these Pokemon have even gathered a fan base. It is Ice Psychic type. Next we have Electabuzz. Many power plants keep ground-type Pokemon around as a defense against Electabuzz that come seeking electricity. With the coming of a storm, many of these Pokemon will gather under tall trees and sit there waiting for lightning to strike. It is electric type. Next, we have Magmar. Magmar dispatches its prey with fire, but it regrets this habit once it realizes that it has burned its intended prey to a charred crisp. These Pokemon's bodies are constantly burning. Magmar are feared as one of the causes behind fires. It is fire type. Next, we have Pinsir. These Pokemon judge one another based on pincers. Thicker, more impressive pincers make for more popularity with the opposite gender. This Pokemon clamps its pincers down on its prey and then either splits the prey in half or flings it away. It is bug type. Next, we have Tauros. When Tauros begins whipping itself with its tails, it's a warning that the Pokemon is about to charge with astounding speed. The Tauros of the Galar region are volatile in nature, and they won't allow people to ride on their backs. It is normal type. Next, we have Magikarp. It is virtually worthless in terms of both power and speed. It is the most weak and pathetic Pokemon in the world. This weak and pathetic Pokemon gets easily pushed along rivers when there are strong currents. It is water type. It evolves into Gyarados. It has an extremely aggressive nature. The hyper beam it shoots from its mouth totally incinerates all targets. Once it begins to rampage, a Gyarados will burn everything down, even in a harsh storm. Its type is water flying. Next, we have Lapras, a smart and kind-hearted Pokemon. It glides across the surface of the sea, while its beautiful song echoes around it. Crossing icy seas is no issue for this cold-resistant Pokemon. Its smooth skin is a little cool to the touch. It is water-ice type. Next we have Ditto. It can reconstitute its entire cellular structure to change into what it sees, but it returns to normal when it relaxes. When it encounters another Ditto, it will move faster than normal to duplicate that opponent exactly. It is normal type. Next we have Eevee. It has the ability to alter the composition of its body to suit its surrounding environment. Thanks to its unstable genetic makeup, this special Pokemon conceals many different possible evolutions. The first of which, it's a normal type. The first evolution being Vaporeon. When Vaporeon's fins begin to vibrate, it is a sign that rain will come within a few hours. Its body's cellular structure is similar to the molecular composition of water. It can melt invisibly in water. It is water type. Then we have Jolteon. If it is angered or startled, the fur all over its body bristles like sharp needles that pierce foes. It accumulates negative ions in the atmosphere to blast out 10,000-volt lightning bolts. It is electric type. Then we have Flareon. Once it has stored up enough heat, this Pokemon's body temperature can reach up to 1,700 degrees Fahrenheit. It stores some of the air it inhales in its internal flame pouch, which heats it to over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It is fire type. Next, we have Porygon. State-of-the-art technology was used to create Porygon. It was the first artificial Pokemon to be created via computer programming. In recent years, this species has been very helpful in cyberspace. These Pokemon will go around checking to make sure no suspicious data exists. It is normal type. Next we have Omanite. Because some Omanites manage to escape after being restored or are released into the wild by people, this species is becoming a problem. This Pokemon is a member of an ancient extinct species. Omanite paddles through water with its 10 tentacles, looking like it's just drifting along. It is rock-water type. It evolves into Omastar. Weighed down by a large and heavy shell, Omastar couldn't move very fast. Some say it went extinct because it was unable to catch food. Omastar's sharp fangs could crush rock, but the Pokemon can attack only the prey that come within reach of its tentacles. It is rock-water type. Next is Kabuto. This species is almost entirely extinct. Kabuto molt every 3 days, making their shells harder and harder. While some say this species has gone extinct, Kabuto sightings are apparently fairly common in some places. It is rock-water. It evolves into Kabutops. Kabutops slices its prey apart and sucks out the fluids. The discarded body parts become food for other Pokemon. The cause behind the extinction of this species is unknown. Kabutops were aggressive Pokemon that inhabited warm seas. It is rock-water type. Next, we have Aerodactyl. This is a ferocious Pokemon from ancient times. Apparently, even modern technology is incapable of producing a perfectly restored specimen. Aerodactyl's saw-like fangs can shred skin to tatters, even the skin of Steel-type Pokemon. It is rock-flying type. Next, we have Snorlax. It is not satisfied unless it eats over 880 pounds of food every day. When it is done eating, it goes promptly to sleep. This Pokemon's stomach is so strong, even eating moldy or rotten food will not affect it. It is normal type. Next, we have Articuno. It's said that this Pokemon's beautiful blue wings are made of ice. Articuno flies over snowy mountains, its long tail fluttering along behind it. This Pokemon can control ice at will. Articuno is said to live in snowy mountains riddled with permafrost. It is ice-flying type. Next, we have Zapdos. This Pokemon has complete control over electricity. There are tales of Zapdos nesting in the dark depths of pitch-black thunder. There are tales of Zapdos nesting in the dark depths of pitch-black thunderclouds. Zapdos is a legendary bird Pokemon. It's said that when Zapdos rubs its feathers together, lightning will fall immediately after. It is electrical flying type. Next, we have Moltres. It's one of the legendary bird Pokemon. When Moltres flaps its flaming wings, they glimmer with a dazzling red glow. There are stories of this Pokemon using its radiant, flame-cloaked wings to light up paths for those lost in the mountains. It is fire-flying type. Next, we have Dratini. Dratini dwells near bodies of rapidly flowing water, such as the plunge pools of waterfalls. As it grows, Dratini will shed its skin many times. This Pokemon was long considered to be no more than a myth. The small lump on a Dratini's forehead is actually a horn that's still coming in. It is Dragon type. Then we have Dragonair. This Pokemon lives in pristine oceans and lakes. It can control the weather, and it uses this power to fly into the sky, riding on the wind. It is Dragon type. This Pokemon gathers power in the orbs on its tail and controls the weather. When enshrouded by an aura, Dragonair has a mystical appearance. And the final evolution is Dragonite. It's a kind-hearted Pokemon. If it spots a drowning person or Pokemon, Dragonite simply must help them. This Pokemon is known as the Sea Incarnate. Figureheads that resemble Dragonite decorate the bows of many ships. It is Dragon-flying type. Next, we have Mewtwo. Its DNA is almost the same as Mew's. However, its size and disposition are vastly different. It is a Psychic type. And then, finally, we have number 151, Mew. When viewed through a microscope, this Pokemon's short, fine, delicate hair can be seen. And it is a Psychic type. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. You might as well sub. And if this video gets 100 likes, I'll do Generation 2